Hi, my name is Tara Lyons. I have the higher level Leaving Cert 2023 chemistry paper here in front of me. So here are my thoughts on the paper. So to start off with section A, which is the experiment section, we've got our usual volumetric analysis, organic chemistry experiment, and they were pretty straightforward. You have your usual procedures, you have your questions specific to the experiment itself, and you had the appropriate calculation going with it. The question 1 was very, very similar to 2017's question 1, so any work done on that question would have helped you enormously for this. Question 2, the experiment was preparation of ethyne. You had a diagram, you had your test for unsaturation, again pretty straightforward with a little calculation at the end, but nothing too difficult. Question 3 was the heat of reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. Hadn't been asked for a few years, so was kind of expected to make an appearance. The normal reactions that you are usually asked on this particular experiment, your calculation was pretty straightforward. At the end, they put a little modification to see did you actually understand what was going on in the experiment and how that modification would affect the overall result. Now, in section B, question 4, your usual mix of short questions. You had 8 to choose out of 11, so I'm pretty sure that you will have managed to find 8 that suited you. The usual run of organic atomic theory, stoichiometry there. Question 5, your atomic theory on history of the periodic table and electronegativity and trends. And then question 6 are fuels and heats of reaction. Again, as has been the case in practically every year since 2002, we had a Hess's law calculation to work out a heat change. Question 7, like about 80% of the time, we had acids, bases, pHs, and a little bit for the Environmental Protection Agency on water with how nitrates and phosphates are going to cause pollution, with a nice little photograph of a few swans swimming around. Question 8, general organic reaction scheme, good bit about boiling points there and how the boiling points change with chain length in terms of carbons, nothing that you wouldn't have been prepared for. Question 9, a nice chemical equilibrium question with a calculation and a little graph at the end, which really, was just going to aid you to answer the bit at the end of that question. And then your question 10 and 11, where you have in question 10, choose 2 parts out of 3. In question 11, choose 2 parts out of 4. You had the usual mix, a little bit more atomic theory with radioactivity, stoichiometry there, a little bit more organic present, a really nice gas laws calculation, and while it's not everybody's favourite, a little half question on electrolysis of potassium iodide. So any of the practice that you've done on the run up to the exam, any of the revision that you've done, you would have been well able for 8 questions out of those 11. So folks, it's all over now, finished for this year, well done.